this just popped in. I've never asked this question before, but you go all the time. Was there a time when you went the first time where you had this experience where you go, Joshua, I think he says, I'm a man of unclean lips, and I live among people of unclean lips. That's like an Old Testament experience. But did you ever go and say, I'm a person of unclean lips? And why is it different? Is it because of the cross that's different?
Yeah, because I was born again.
Yeah. Okay.
I had the blood of Christ cover me, and I lived a life on purpose without sinning. And so there was no darkness in me when I was caught up there. And I was beside myself. I thought I was going to melt and go, I thought I was going to melt from the glory that was on the Father. And Christ introduced me to the Father. And he said, I want you to reveal the Father also. We have asked you to reveal heaven to earth, but I want you to especially reveal the heart of the Father. And that's why I talk so much about the Father. I was asked by Jesus Christ in person to do that. So no, I just know every time I go, I am undone. That it's like life flowing into you. You can't help but feel the life and the love of God, the power of the throne, the power that comes from the throne room. And people can barely make it up the steps. So sometimes they'll just lay on the steps and just worship there, or they bring gifts to Jesus. People bring gifts to the Father, to the Son all the time, and lead him on the steps of the throne are massive. It's like huge steps. Several steps and columns and a platform. So it's a structure. It isn't just a big chair sitting somewhere. It's actually a structure, the throne is. And there's 4 sets of steps going up to the throne. I remember when I met Gary Brooks, he was a prophet that is now living in heaven. When I met him the first time, he knew I had been there because he heard me speaking somewhere. And he came to me and said, I know that what you're saying is true, because he was caught up and walked up the back steps of the throne. Really? He said, I know there's 4 sets of steps, but most people don't say that. And he said he actually stood behind the Father and he was just changed forever. An angel called him up when he had been worshiping and then ministering to the Lord, in prayer. And all of a sudden he was just on the floor in the room that he was in. And an angel came down and picked him up by his spiritual body and took him up to heaven and took him behind the throne and walked him up the throne. So he said, I know what you're saying is true because I saw those 4 sets of
Interesting
steps.
choice that God would take on that one, say, bring him up the back steps.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, I would say, I suppose he was happy no matter what. I'm glad you got to go up the front steps, maybe look into the face of God. I don't know.
He saw the seraphim coming down out of the glory cloud over the throne.
Wow.
He saw the living creatures, and he was just undone. He was undone, but he himself was seeking God adamantly. He had ministered for 30 years and just stopped. He said, I want more. I want to know you. I want to give truth from you. I have to, and pursued for a whole year and a half nonstop. And at the end of that time, or within that time, was when he was just caught up and walked up the back steps of the throne.
Can I ask you?
The throne room was round. He knew the throne room was round.
He did. So you were comparing notes and it was the same. I love it when that happens.
Yeah.